Hello everyone. In this video I will show you how easy the brachial plexus can be. I will show you how we can get to this end product. I will show you this picture along with the video, so you can just take a picture and pose it to have it, and then you can write it on your own. So let's begin. So let me get my pencil. So first of all, what you need to write is, remember that the brachial plexus is made of 5 ventral primary rami. So we have C5, C6, C7, C8 and T1. So what you need to know that C5 and C6 are always together, C8 and T1 are always together, and C7 is alone. So you can say the upper one and the one below it are together taken, C8 and T1 are taken, and C7 is single alone. Because if there are 5 people, not all of them can be together, unless 3 are together, which is not the case here. And what might also be kind of confusing is C8, because C8 is not one of the vertebra, because the cervical vertebra has only 7. This is the root that rises above T1, because as you already know, the roots in the cervical region rise above the vertebra, not below it, which is the case for the thoracic, the lumbar, the sacral, and the coccygeal. So that's the only difference. That this is another variation, that in the cervical region, the roots rise above the vertebra, not below it. What you also need to label, so we can say that this is our y-axis, and on our x-axis here, we have the mnemonic that is used by many people. Remember to drink cold beer. What does that mean? So we have roots, as you can see, for remember. 2 is trunks. Drink is divisions. Cold is cord. The word is kind of similar. And beer, branches. So easy so far, as you can see. Remember to drink cold beer. And we have C5, C6, C7, C81. It's like the number of fingers on your hand. C5, C6, C7, C81. Just count them. C5 and C6 together, C7 alone, C8 and T1 together. So extend the line, and extend the line. Here's another trick that's really cool. We started with 5, right? We started with 5 roots. We're going to end up with 5 branches. I'll show you that later. Let me just write 5 to remember. So we have the roots. They join up together. C5 and C6 join up to form the superior trunk. So if we have a superior trunk, what would we have? We have an inferior trunk, obviously. And then we have a superior above and inferior below. So obviously in the middle, there should be a middle trunk. Here's the thing. The middle trunk is only made up of C7, and the inferior trunk is made of C8 and T1, as you can see, superiors by C5 and C6. For divisions, the trick that I would like to use, if you've ever played bowling before, you would know that the best score, what is the best score that you can get in a turn? It's a strike. So here's a strike. What's the second best score? A spare. So you have a spare. So you have between the first 2 lines the best score, and between the 2 lines below it is the second best score, so a strike and a spare. And we can draw an arrow here, an arrow here, an arrow. These are basically the roots of the trunks, then because they divide into divisions. So there's an anterior division and a posterior division. So this is a posterior division, this is a posterior division, this is an anterior division, just in case you want to know. And in the chords, we have lateral chord here, posterior, and medial. It doesn't quite make sense in a 2D diagram, but if you would have seen it on a cadaver, it makes actually a lot of sense, because these two are in front, one is medial, one is lateral, and this is behind. How I would like to remember it, which is not kind of PG, but I'll say it because it really did help me a lot, is let's party motherfuckers. And here we have remember to drink cold beer. So as you can see, we're going with kind of a party theme, and it's not gonna end here. So here we have 1 branch ending, and 1 branch ending here, and 1 branch ending here. But remember what we said, starts with 5, ends with 5. So here we're gonna have a branch coming out, and this is kind of cheeky, so I want you to concentrate. So the lateral chord, this one, contributes, and the medial chord contributes to form the 5th branch over here. So here we have the first one as the musculocutaneous, musculocutaneous. Here we have axillary. Here we have radial. Here we have median, because we have the lateral and the medial, so they kind of like negate each other. And then we have ulnar. So this is basically around 80% of the brachial plexus done. I just have to now label the side branches. So these are the 5 main branches, the terminal branches. Now we have the side ones. Okay, so we have one here coming from the C5 root. We have a really long one here coming from C5, C6 and C7. So that's our number 1. This is our number 2. We have 2 here. So that's our number 3 and that's our number 4. And then in the divisions, this is quite easy. We don't have anything. And in the middle and inferior trunks also we have nothing. So far 1, 2, 3 and 4. And then in the chords we have 1 on the top. So that's 5. And here we have 1, 2, 3, so 6, 7, 8. And last but not least, in the medial, we have 1, 2, 3, 9, 10, and 11. So that's about it. But I will show you in the actual diagram what these nerves are called. So if we come to number 1 that we had, it's the dorsal scapular. Dorsal scapular is not that important of a nerve. It supplies rhomboid major, rhomboid minor, and levator scapulae. These are the muscles of the upper back, and they help you with the posture, basically. It's not as important as the other nerves that we're going to get into. For example, this long nerve that comes from C5, C6, and C7, it's called the long thoracic. Long thoracic is really important because it supplies serratus anterior. And if this is damaged, there is this phenomena called winging of the scapula. Teachers really love asking about this, so that's why you should know it. And then we have here suprascapular. It supplies... what does the suprascapular supply? It supplies supraspinatus and infraspinatus. These are really important muscles. Then we have subclavian, which supplies the subclavius muscle. Then we have number 5, lateral pectoral, which supplies pectoralis major. And then we have 6, 7, and 8. 6 and 8 are quite easy because it's lower subscapular and upper subscapular. They both supply subscapularis, but lower subscapular also supplies teres major, so you need to know that. And number 7 here, it's thoracodorsal. It's quite easy to remember which muscle it supplies because thoracodorsal, latissimus dorsi. So they both end with the word dorsal. So just remember the muscle that ends with dorsal. And then we have 9, 10, 11 medial pectoral, which supplies pectoralis major and pectoralis minor. And then we have medial brachial cutaneous, medial antebrachial cutaneous. If you're quite familiar with Latin, brachial means arm, antebrachial means forearm. Cutaneous means skin, and cutaneous means skins. These are the only 2 nerves which don't have any motor supply. This supplies the medial part of the arm, the skin. So the skin of the medial arm. And this is the skin of the medial forearm. And then over here we have the musculocutaneous. Musculocutaneous supplies the flexors of the arm. Axillary supplies teres minor. Which nerve supplies teres major? It's lower subscapular. Teres minor by axillary nerve and deltoid. So it's responsible for abducting and lateral rotation of the humeral joint. Radial nerve supplies the extensors of the whole arm. That's why it's the longest one. Median and ulnar supply don't have any branches on the arm, but they supply the forearm and the hand. So they're quite complicated in that aspect. And that's basically it. That's everything that you need to know about the brachial plexus. That's why right now I would say that it's really simple. So if you have any questions about it, feel free to leave it in the comments below. And if you have any other doubt in anatomy or like any topic that you want me to make a video on, feel free to comment on it as well. It's been with you, the Anatomy Man, and I hope to see you soon.